Hey guys, I'm here with a look at the just released MTH HO ES44ACs. These are the ProtoSound 3 equipped versions. So after we take a look at these up close here, we'll put them on the track and start them up, run through the sounds, show them running on the track a little bit. But first, I'm just going to turn these guys around so you can see them up close, see the detail. I'm really not going to talk about what they do or don't have compared to the prototypes, simply because I do not really know too much about the prototypes. I'm a fan of model railroading, but to be honest, I really don't know all the details and ins and outs of the prototypes, so I can't say that the model has or doesn't have a particular part, so I'm not even going to try to pretend that I do know. So, like I said, we're just going to turn these guys around slowly. Hopefully it'll stay in focus. There we go. Let you guys see the detail up close. I might interject a few comments as I go around, but otherwise, check them out, and then after that, we'll move into running them on the track and starting them up. So here we go. So one thing you'll notice, the BNSF version does not have rear ditch lights. I assume that's per the prototype. All of the lettering and paint is extremely crisp, and I'm not sure how well it's coming through on the video, but all of the little warning labels are very well done. Also, the handrails are very sturdy, in my opinion. I have a couple MTH SD70M-2s that I feel have pretty good handrails, and I think these are even more sturdy than those. Since these are the ProtoSound 3 versions, they did come with the proto couplers, which I've since removed. Not that I don't like them, it's just that I actually remap functions on these guys, in particular 7 and 8, to match some other non-MTH locomotives that I have, just trying to keep functions consistent across, or as consistent as best across all my locomotives. So that's the primary reason I removed them. That, and I really just don't use them. MTH does provide KD couplers in the box to replace them with, so it's really not a big deal. One thing that I don't know if it comes across here is this grating up front here is see-through. I think you can kind of see the orange of the BNSF behind it coming through. So that's some pretty good detail there. Let this come into focus one last time. And we'll put them on the track, start them up, run them around a little bit so you guys can see and hear that. So stay tuned. Okay, so we've got the locomotives on the track, and we'll run through the sounds and lights and all that. As far as starting them up, there are actually now two options with the latest ProtoSound 3 software. You can either run through the startup sequence, which out of the box is F3, and You cannot turn on any lights or sound the horn, ring the bell, any of that prior to startup. So you have to run through the startup sequence. But now you have a second option, which is to increase the throttle. And if you increase the throttle before running through the startup sequence, then it goes right into the engine idle sounds, and even some cab chatter if you have that on. So that kind of reminds me of a tsunami decoder, and so we'll demonstrate that real quick with the BNSF loco. So it is not started up right now. Obviously, the track power is on, so it's awaiting command. And if I just increase the throttle, we'll just go to like speed step 2. You'll notice that the sounds will kick in right away. Whereas previously with the Protosound 3 engine, if you just went immediately to the throttle, the locomotive would run silent, but you didn't have access to any lights or the horn or whistle. So here we go. On the BNSF, we'll just go right into speed step 2, and you'll notice that the sounds will kick right in. Okay, so now essentially the engine is started up, and I now have access to lights. There's headlight, number boards, which is F5. And then if I start it back up, headlights brighten up, rule 17, and the ditch lights come on. So that's one way to start up the engine. So we'll mute the engine real quick, which is F25 out of the box. So then the second way, which is kind of, I guess, the standard MTH way, or at least what you were forced to do in the past, was run through the startup sequence. So we'll do that on the Norfolk and Southern here. So out of the box, that's F3, which is startup and shutdown. I've actually remapped that on this locomotive to F9 to stay consistent with some Broadway Limited engines that I have. So we'll do that here. F9 to start up. And then obviously once it's started up, you have access to headlights, which are on, F5, which is number boards, and ditch lights, that's on. And then obviously start it up, or started in motion, ditch lights come on, and the headlights brighten for rule 17 lighting. So that's the second way to start it up, and probably what most people are used to with Protosound 3 locomotives. So now we'll just run through the sounds like horns and bells. So here's the horn. You do also have a what they call a short horn blast, which is F24 out of the box. I've remapped it to F3. And your bell. Your forward signal, your reverse signal, and grade crossing. So those are all the basic sounds. I'm not going to run through things like the cab chatter and the clickety clack and some of that stuff. There's also coupler sound, which is pretty standard, so I don't think there's anything special there. Not that it's bad, just it doesn't sound much different than any other locomotive. So we'll run this around real quick and come back, and we'll run through the shutdown sound, and that'll be it. So here we go. And here we go with the shutdown sound. And there you have it. One thing to note that you didn't see here was when in reverse, the rear ditch lights on the Norfolk Southern do flash as well, just like the front ones. So that's good. However, on the BNSF, the ditch lights, which are only on the front, flash as well, and as far as my understanding goes, that is not per the prototype. But I could be wrong there, but that's my understanding. So some people may not like that, and I'm honestly not sure if that can be changed. From looking at the list of supported CVs in the user manual, I could not find anything that looked like a CV that you could change to modify the behavior of the ditch lights. So you may be stuck with flashing ditch lights. So I guess that's just something to be aware of. Overall though, for me, as I said earlier, I really have no knowledge of the actual prototypes in terms of details and all of that. So to me, these are extremely well done locomotives. They run smooth. I have about 9 other MTH HO locomotives, both diesel and steam, and to me they all run extremely smooth at all speeds. Great pulling power. They all look good. These two here have a really good paint job, very crisp paint and lettering. They sound good. Again, the sounds may not be 100% prototypical, but to me they sound good. So I guess there's a little bit of ignorance is bliss, I suppose. But again, they look good. The sounds are good. Whether or not they're fully accurate, I don't know. And they have great pulling power and run good. So for me, that's enough. As far as just some other things to point out, DCC wise, which most people would probably run these under, they do support custom speed tables. They do support advanced consisting, so CV19, 21, and 22. So again, for me, that's enough DCC compatibility. I guess one downside is you do not have full control over each individual volume. So the engine volume, bell volume, horn volume, you just have a master volume that is that you use F6 to change. So you press F6 and it slowly gets quieter, and then when it gets to the point that you like, you press F6 again, and that'll set it. And then if you want it to get louder, then you press F6 one more time, and then the volume will start to increase. And then you press F6 one last time to stop that increase at the point that you like. So I guess that'd be probably my main gripe, and that's across all MTH HO locomotives when you're running on DCC. Obviously on DCS you do have full control over the individual sounds. So that's my look at these. Not really a review, I would say, again, since I don't have a full understanding of the prototypes, but I just wanted to give a look at these since they're new, and there's not a lot of good looks at these online right now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.